everyone. So in this video today we are going to see about the different data types available in C programming. So in the previous video we still have some of the basic concepts that are explained in overview concept. So today we are going to see about the main concepts of data types in C programming. So the data types means we are having different types of formats to represent different types of fields in your form. So for example, whenever we are considering filling up your form, so we need to put different types of formats like your name or your mobile number. So these kind of things that has to be filled in several different types of formats like your name consists only of strings and your mobile number will consist of numeric numbers. So these kind of data types are known as data types in C programming. So as I already in the previous video, you can see that there are two different types of data types in C programming. They are two types. Okay, one is predefined data types. So another one is the user defined data types. Uh, Even predefined data types, uh, we are all having the different types of int, char, double, sorry, double, array of char. These are the different types of data types that will come under the predefined data types in C programming. So the user defined types are in C we are having the type called structures. So in this structure we are going to declare different types of data types and the union. These are some of the concepts of user defined data types. So in this video we are mainly focusing on the different types of predefined data types and user defined data types in C programming. So let's get into the topic. So first we are going to first we already seen how the characters and the double array of characters are working. So now we are going to look on the user defined data types. So as I already said, the user defined data types, if you know C language, C++ language, the C++ language and the Java are main concepts of having OOPS, that is object oriented programming language. But C is a structured programming language in which there is no concept called as OOPS. So but since we are having the concept of struct, by using this structure we can make the C language to look like C++ program, and you can also create a class. We cannot actually create a class, but we can make to understand the user that okay, this is kind of class, but actually this is not a class. So let's how to create a structure. So creating a structure. Uh, in C programming, initially the structured are defined as a syntax. So the structures are defined with the keyword structure struct. So followed by its name. Then curly braces. Then inside this curly braces, you have defined any number of data members. These data members are the one that are going to define our structures. So it may consist of name, mobile, address, these kind of data will be stored in the structure. And then we can also give an alias name with the help of type def struct name by any other names, your name. Here you can see that structures are defined with the name keyword struct. So the structure name is name, and the data members are the one that are going to define our structure. And here the type def means so we are going to give an alias name such that we are going to access the structure with the help of that name. So this name is the actual structure name, and this is the name that we are going to give for our structure as an alias name. So this is the basic format of defining a structure in C programming. So let's see an example how to use it inside a C program. So now I'm going to create a, file. Now I'm going to create a file known as struct underscore sample dot c. So in this, first of all, as I already said, we are going to include the header file. So after that header file is once included, so we can now starting our code struct node. For the name of we are going to give a name as struct name, and this is a curly braces is a default one, and we are going to define the data members as okay. So I am going to give the data name as char name of. So it is going to be of length 10. So what is this going to do is so it's like just a recall of the previous video. So it is of a type character character type with length 10. So yeah. So another name what we are going to give is in space mobile. So here we are successfully defined our structure. Our structure's name is going to be the name, and we are that is will be initiated with the help of structured keyword. So in main function, int main of. So as helper cell, we can also do the alias name as type def struct not space. We can give the name as struc structure. Yeah, struct name. Sorry. So here you can see that we are going to give an alias name with the help of the keyword type def. So this type def will help to give the structure as a alias name. So we are give the alias name as structure. So whenever we are going to access this structure name, we don't have to call always this structure name. So by instead of calling the full name, we can since only call the structure to access these uh, names. So yeah, now let's see an example. Uh, Here we are going to call structure space uh, code. Now I am going to tell so code dot So, for simple example, we can take it as uh, any character type. Yeah. So, okay. So I am going to now code it dot ch is equals to a. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a structure with the name Cody, and we are going to access the data members of the structure as we are assigning the value as a. So now we are going to print the value. Now we are going to print the value that is available in the coding. So it is going to of percentage C, comma, coding dot C. So we are now going to compile it. Yeah, here you can see that the name is given as A. So it is working properly. So what we have done is, so we are going to create a define a structure. The structure name is name, and we are going to create the alias name for the structure, and that is known as structure. So we are creating a structure with the name Cody, and we are assigning the Cody.ch. We are going to assigning the value of the ch as a, and we are just printing it. So let's see how we can access the integer data type. So simple like Cody dot mobile is equals to I want to fine. So print f of, so we are going to print it uh mobile. So, mobile. So yeah. So now we are going to compile it. It is compiled successfully, and it is displaying successfully the details. So let's briefly see and how we are executed this program. So it is this is an example for the user defined data type. Uh, Here we are declared the structured with the data members as CH and mobile, and we are going to define assign the values for each of the data members, and we are just accessing it. So this is a simple example for how the data is predefined and the difference between the user defined data types. So how we are accessing is a much different one. So we can access these user defined data types with the help of two accesses. So accessing accessing the structure can be done in two different ways. So using dot method. So this is the method that we already seen in the previous example. So another one thing is the using arrow method. So using these two types. So using the dot method, we can also access the data members that are available in the structure. So by using arrow method also, we can access these data members also. So in most of the cases, by normal access, we use dot operations. So in pointer operations, we use the arrow operator. So now you have some idea about how the actual data types and the user defined data types that are available in C programming. So if you are still confusing with it, so please let me know with the comments so that it is better for me to take a brief review on it. So now let's get into the next topic. Uh, in C program, there will be different types of looping statements and the control statements. So, for example, control statements. So, these control statements are used for decision making in the execution of the program. So, as I already told in the previous videos, the C program is a compiling language. So, once the program is being executed, it is being compiled. So, compiling is not just like whatever the program it will be executing. So, it is like the compiler will execute the line by line. So, while executing, some of the codes that need not to be executed. For example, so while calculating uh, a leap year, so in this case, we are checking for whether the given year is a leap year or not. So by checking it, so we have to show only whether the year is a leap year or not. So for that, uh, if we are given input as 2024. So as here you can see that the input is 2024. Now shall we can write an algorithm how to find it. So the algorithm. So get an input, check 22 24 is divisible by 4. So there are some other cases that are either divisible by 4, but it is not meant to be a uh, leap year. So leaving that case, so first what we have to is get an input and check for the year is a leap year which is divisible by 4. If yes, if yes, yeah, if yes, display leap year, else else display not leap year. So yeah, leap year. So here you can see uh, either this statement or this statement has to be executed. So either one of the statement has to be executed. At this condition, there is no need to execute both of these statements. So these statements that can be controlled using if statements or else. So some other conditions like are also available. So these kind of statements are known as control statements. Now you can get a clear idea about what is a control statement. So control statements are of two types. So one is uh, branching, another one is conditional. So yeah, so in this you might thinking about what is branching. So branching statement is nothing like it has to sometimes our program has to repeatedly do a same kind of jobs for a particular amount of time. So these are known as branching statements. So another that for an example we can consider as a while loop. The branching statements are also are known as looping statements. So, for example, while loop, do while loop, these are the basic examples of looping statement. So conditional statements are nothing but, as I already said, to check whether the statement has to be executed or not, if statements. So these are the two types of statement that has been available in the C programming language. So let's see an example for the branching or looping statements. So, so first let's see a conditional statement. So considering an the example to check whether the given year is a leap year or not. So the algorithm is get an input, check for the year is divisible by 4. If yes, it is we have to show it as leap year. Yes, that is it is not a leap year. So let's convert the algorithm into code. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the editor. So here you can see, yeah. Now I'm going to create lib.c. So our algorithm. So I'm yeah. So make it as a command line. So this is the algorithm for our so is we are going to this code. So I am going to include the header files. So yeah, so I can include the header files. So I'm going to now create int main of. So here you can see int main of. So in this we are going to declare a variable called as year. So this year is going to get the input from the user. So we can get tell the user that you have to enter an year. So I'm going to tell us enter a year. So once the statement is given, we have to get the input from the user. So for that, I'm going to use the scan of statements and get the input from the year. So in using this two statements, we get the input from the user. So now, if the modulus of 4 double equals to 0, here this is the uh, of API session else of. So here you can see that if it is the no it is known as the conditional statements. So here you can see if here modulus of so we know that the modulus of 4 will return the whether the number is divisible or not. So if the year is divisible by 4, it is a leap year. So we are going to print the statement as leap year. If otherwise else, so this condition will be executed only the if statement fails. In the else statement, we are displaying it as not a leap year. So let's execute it. So I'm going to save it and then we are going to execute it. So the successfully compiled. So dot slash enter. So here you can see that it is asking for input from the user. So I'm going to give it as 2024. So here you can see that it is leap year. So since 2024 is divisible by 4, it is giving it as leap year. Yeah. So now we are going to try a different output like 2023. Yeah, here you can see 2023 is not a leap year. So since it is not divisible by 4, we are getting it as not a leap year. So yeah. Our first program is working properly as a example conditional statements. Here, one of the conditional statement is the if though so many other are also available. So, so now what we are going to do is branching or looping statements. So these branching or looping statements will be more helpful whenever we are in need of doing a same job for a repeated number of times. So, for example, whenever we are consider a statement like, so I'm going to create a uh, C program that is going to display me a continuous number of statements like let's see an example. Yeah, here I am going to state the printf of hello world. So here you can see what is the predicted output is. It is going to tell the command is tell the output is as hello world. Yeah. Here you can see it is printed once. Since we have written the code for the loop as to print the output as hello world for once. So now what we want to do is we want to the hello or two to three times like so if you want to yeah uh, if you want to do this for two times it is okay. So if you want to do it for 10 times or 20 times, we cannot do all copy and paste at a single time. So for all this work we are using looping statements. So now you have a basic idea about why we have to use a looping statement. So let's see how what is the syntax for the looping statements. So so looping statements. So yeah, here we are having the for loop, for loop. Yeah, syntax. The syntax for loop is similarly in many of the languages like C++, Java, Python. So Python is a little bit different, but whenever you are compiled with the C, C++, and Java, both are having the same concept of same syntax for the for loops. So syntax is for I in is equals to val semicolon condition semicolon increment or decrement. So in this, this is the initialization. So we can simply still it as initialization. Initial. Okay, fine. So initialization. So in this initialization part, we are going to use the variable as, for example, if we want to print the hello world for 10 times, the algorithm for printing uh, hello world for 10 times. So what we have to do is uh, initialize initialize all, then set condition, then increment or decrement. So since we are using simple statements, so we can use the for loop as for So I'm going to declare this for I is equals to 0 semicolon I less than 10 semicolon I plus plus. What the statement will do is it initializes the value as for the count of I is equals to 0, and it checks for whether the I is less than or less than 10. So it is the increment value. So once the condition is checked, it will come inside the for loop and executes the statement that are available here. So these statements are executed, and then the value of the I will be incremented, and again it will be checked for the condition. So next time the condition will be checked and it will be executed. So this is an overall execution and the algorithm for for multiple number of times executing the uh, print statement or other execution statements recursively using for loop. So let us see an example how we have to use the for loop in the C program. So yeah, and, create that. So yeah, let's leave it. Let's Okay. So now I am going to just delete all these statements. So I am going to only have the uh, printf statement. So for I is equals to 0 semicolon, I less than 10 semicolon, I plus plus. So yeah, here you can see I have declared the for loop with the initial value of I is equals to 0 and I less than 10 and I plus plus. So now what we have to do is we have to initialize the value of I. So if the using an I value without declaring, it will be showing the error of undeclared usage of I. So we are going to declare it. So let's see how this is looking. So So yeah, here you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here you can see that the hello world has been printed 10 times. So instead of doing copy pasting the hello world for printing of the 10 number of times, so we can use using a single for loop, we can print the hello world for 10 times. So for these kind of statements will be more helpful whenever we are going for a large scale of programming languages. So later on we will have different types of lengthier program. This will be more helpful while we are working with that things. So now we are having a common idea how the for loop works. So the other statements in the branching statements are uh, while loops, while loops, and do while loops. So these while loops are also similar to the for loops in C. So instead of the initialization and the condition and the increment value, the while loop only having a uh, one parameter. Yeah, the one parameter. The one parameter is the condition. While so here I already checked the I is whether the less than or 10 or not. So whether I less than 10. This condition will only be checked, and only if it is true, the conditions, the statement that are inside in the while loop block will be getting executed. So, what is now we have to another statement called do while loop. So, another one is do while of condition. So, in the do while loop, the statement will be once executed and the condition will be checked. So the main difference between the while and the do while is that the condition will be checked and then it will be executed in the while loop. But in do while loop, the condition that will not be checked at the initial state. The condition, the statements that are inside the while do while loop block will be completely executed for a single time, and then the condition will be checked, and then whether the next statement has to be inside the while loop has to be executed or not. So by understanding these kind of executions, we can see that while loop may execute or may not execute for a single time, but the do while loop executes at least one time that are statement that are executed that are inside the do while block. So let us see an example for while loop. So here I am going to the for loop. Here I am going to initially it is a 0, so that there will be no garbage value for I that will affect our execution of the program. While I not equals to 10. So yeah, here I put the statement as while I not equal to 10. So while whenever the I value is not equals to 10, the printf statement will be executed. Like so, here there will be a problem known as unlimited branching. So the unlimited branching when will be occurring is so whenever we are having the no condition like uh, you are having a condition, but we are not never going to update the condition. So here I have used while I not equals to 10, but I have initialized the value as initial values is equal to 0. But in the while loop, I am not going to change any values for the I values. So since I am not working on the I value, I have not changed any kind of values assigned or value changes to the I. So the initial value that is assigned for I as 0 will be kept for the entire program. So at this time, so the condition will be always true. So always since always true, the printf statements that will be continuously executed, which results in the unlimited branching. This kind of a problem has to be avoided from the beginning whenever we are going to learn a new language. This kind of problem that can be solved using yeah, here you can see I am going to declare the curly brace. Here I have already said that we have to update the condition. So now what I am going to do is I plus plus. This I plus plus what will do is increment the I value by 1. So this increments the I value by 1. Since we are initializing the value as 0 and we are going to increment it by 1, it will be executed for only 10 days. Once the I value is becoming the value of 10, it will get out executed from the program. So let's execute it. So this is loop.c. So program is successfully, and so here you can see Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Here you can see the program has been successfully compiled and executed for 10 times. This is how the while loop is working. So yeah. Now let's see an example for do while loop. So there will be not much differences between the while loop and the do while loop. The main difference between the two the be executed once in a do while loop while I not equals to 10 circle. So here this is the how we have to declare a do while loop. So do so the do statement will execute all the statement that are inside the do block and it will be checking for the condition. So now let's execute this statement. So on compiling this, so now we are going to compile it. Yeah, the component is compiled successfully. Now we are going to execute it. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here you can see the program has been executed. So now you are having the different some confusion between what is the difference between while loop and the do while loop. As I already said, yeah, the do while loop will be checked at the last at this time. So now I'm going to do both of the operations. So I'm going to just state a printf statement. So executing while. So now I'm going to display while I not equals to 0. Printf of. Okay, now I might duplicate as I double equals to 0. Uh, print of is executed by while A plus plus. So here you can see the condition is initially checked so that it will be okay. Now maybe I can say it as I not equals to 0 so that it can be clear. So here I am checking that if the I is not equals to 0, then only it is going to execute this statement. So but initially it is declared as 0. Now let's see an exam oh, how the program is getting executed. So and again I have to do it to declare it as printf executing executing to while no slash. So okay, slash m will make the program to understand easier. Yeah. So going to tell while I not equals to 0. Here you can see while I not equals to 0. Okay, now I'm just editing the increment. So here you can see that while I not equals to 0, this is tell that this is executed by the while loop. So now I'm going to change this as um, this is executed by do while loop. So uh, here you can see the do while loop will be checking the output, checking the condition at last. So now let's execute this program. Uh, yeah, getting the we are not putting semicolon at the last. So in we all uh, declare a statement putting semicolon so that the compiler can understand that it is going to be the end of the line. So now we are going to execute it. Yeah, here you can see executing while loop. So here you can see there is no statement for the while loop as this is executed by while loop. But in the execution of executing do while loop, here you can see this is executed by do while loop. So now let's get to the program. Here you can see the condition is initially checked. I have initialized I is 0. So here the initial value of I is checked. It is not equal to 0, but it is equals to 0. The condition fails. So the condition is fails. The statement is not executed. But in do while loop, here you can see the condition is not checked at first. The execution of this statements, the inside all these statements will be executed so that this is executed by do while loop is executed and then the condition is checked whether the I is not equals to 0 but it is equals to 0 then the program is stopped executing. This is the main difference between the while loop and the do while loop. Yeah. This is the now you get the main concepts between and the main difference between do while loop and do while loop, and what are the branching statements and what are the control statement that are available in C. So yeah, this is the overall video that I want to share about the basic data types and how we are using the predefined data types and user defined data types, and what are the branching statements and what are the looping statements that are available in C. So for any other different types and for any further reference videos, please comment in the comment section so that it is helpful for me to make other videos. Yeah, thank